Good evening, everyone, and greetings. I'm Bette McCarthy, the chair of the Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Act under Section 9, Chapter 470, Acts of 1973 as amended, you are hereby notified that a hearing will be held tonight on the applications listed in the agenda for Wednesday, June 14th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. And this meeting will be held remotely on Zoom. We'd like to remind all applicants and audience members that we are an elected volunteer committee following the guidelines of the Town of Barnstable Old Kings Highway Historic District Act. Any applicant or interested party who's aggrieved by any decision of this committee, they have a right to appeal the decision to the Old Kings Highway Historic, the Regional Historic District Commission. We ask that during this evening's proceedings, cell phones be turned off and conversations other than those before the committee take place outside of this remote meeting. When an applicant is called, we ask that the applicant and all interested parties identify themselves. And lastly, as best practices for meetings that are held remotely, where we may not be able to visually identify who's speaking, we ask that all committee members and participants identify themselves before making any comments. Online audience members wishing to participate during the public comment section of the hearing can use the raised hand button to notify the chair. Dial-in audience members wishing to participate during the public should press *9 on their phones to notify the chair. All participants will be muted and you must be recognized by the chair to participate. So our first order of business this evening is to take roll call attendance. So we'll do that. And the first committee person would be George Jessup. Is George present yet? No.
Yeah, I think he's on mute. George, I think you're muted.
Oh, all right.
Left-hand corner, is that clear?
There you go.
All right.
Hi, George.
All right. Well, I'm
Thank you.
here.
Yay.
Thank you, George. Glad that you're here.
Me too.
The next one participant would be committee member would be Ryan Caholen. And we understand that Brian is traveling and he will not be here this evening. The next member would be Leslie Wallace.
Here.
Thank you, Leslie. And Wendy Shuck.
Here.
And I myself, as the chair, is also present. All right. So our first order of business is to look at the agenda. And the first application is for Catherine and Matthew Dillon, 1750 Main Street, West Barnstable, map 197, parcel 037, built in 1950. And that is to construct a new detached barn with covered storage. And we need to open a public meeting now. So we will need a motion to do that.
Yep, and this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
And a second.
Thank you,
And then
Joyce.
we'll have roll call attendance for that. Wendy Shuck,
Aye. Here.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
George Jessup,
Yeah. Yes,
and I myself, Bette McCarthy. All right. So is the applicant available to make a presentation on
Yes,
their application?
good evening. Steve Cook from Katua Bay Design. I'm the project designer representing the Dillons tonight. So there was, if you can see on the property map site plan, And you can see in the photographs, there was an old barn on the Dillon's property that collapsed, fell down, rotted out. So we're proposing a brand new barn in the same footprint with a little covered storage area to the right-hand side. It's a small footprint. All the siding, roofing, trim, gonna match the existing house. We're using some windows that the Dillons have. They have some double hung windows. I think there's one or two casement windows that they have available that we're going to use on the second floor. So it's basically a small barn with a double hinge doors with a little roof cover facing Route 6A. So that'll be the front elevation you see on the plan. And then the right elevation has the covered storage area with a second floor dormer with a window. The rear elevation has like a ship's ladder with an access door to get into the second floor. And then you see the left elevation faces the Dillon's house, and that's where the access door and windows would be on that side. Like I said, white cedar shingles, asphalt roof, white trim. So all the standard exterior details for the historic district.
Is that a gray shingle there, Steve?
Yeah, I had
The
it
blue
in there.
gray? It looks
had
like
it.
a blue gray.
Georgetown gray. Yeah,
They call it Georgetown, okay.
that's under the landmark.
Yes,
Okay. All right, that was George Jessup making comments. Any other comments that you have, George?
well, yeah, I wondered why the ship's ladder instead of running a staircase up the side of the building. And I imagine there's window interference, but I didn't see that shown. So could we see those side elevations up again, please?
This is Kate. I will bring those.
Yeah, George. Yeah, the cost for building a full set of stairs, they're just gonna put a ship's ladder. They don't go up to the loft that often, so that's the reason we went with the ship's ladder. So
Okay,
yeah, that's just storage. For the most part, they're gonna use the first floor. Second floor, they're gonna throw, Christmas decorations up there, leftover wood, different things like that. So
same reason I did it.
yeah, it's a full height second floor. We popped the main roof up on a knee wall. So
I'm done, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Wendy, do you have any comments regarding this application?
Just a couple questions. So, the door, what color will the door be painted, or doors? I think there's two on there.
probably either white or natural.
Okay.
The 9-light door probably white, and then the front doors, the hinge doors, they could be natural color or painted. I haven't just decided that yet. It's just gonna be like a tongue and groove type of site built door.
Okay.
So.
And in terms of the windows, so you're going to have some double hung and then some casement windows as well?
Yes, they have these windows on site left over from when they worked on their house. So we have the double hung window on the front facing 6A. And then we have a casement window on the second floor facing east towards the neighbor's yard. And then the other two double hungs in the casement are facing the existing house.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only thing you'll see from 6A is that double hung window over the doors with the little roof cover.
Okay. And will those other windows have grills in them, or are they going to stay as we see?
Right now they don't have grills in them. No, those are windows that they have in a storage bin on their property right now. So
Okay.
the front one will. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those and what type of grills in that window are they
the snap ins.
right. I think we usually prefer bet on the 6A properties to have the what do you call it? The
exterior.
Yes, thank you.
SDLs, yeah, SDL grills, yeah.
Okay, that's it for me, question-wise.
Okay. Leslie,
Yes, back to the windows. The window, what is it, 6/6 that you'll see from the street? Does that go with, I missed the house part. What does the house have?
The house has 6/6s
Okay,
right now, yeah.
yeah, okay, so it'll match that.
Yep.
Yeah. Fine with me.
okay. And as far as my comments, I agree with the other committee, and I think that this barn is situated considerably back off 6A, and will be very little bit of it visible. And I think because it matches the building itself, I think everything that's proposed is agreeable as far as my comments are concerned. Are there any public comments? Are there any neighbors or any members of the public wishing to comment on this?
Do we have to move for an open comment section?
This is Kate Maldonado. We opened the public hearing at the
Yes, we
beginning.
did.
Yep, so we've already opened the public hearing. I am not seeing any members of the public raising their hand at this time, but certainly speak up.
I move we close public hearing.
Okay. I'll second
I
that.
think we need a motion to do that, please.
I just did. I'm sorry. I moved that we close the public hearing.
All right, thank you, George. Please identify
Yeah,
yourself
okay.
before you speak. Thank you. And may we have a second regarding that?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All right, and a committee vote on that. I would vote yes. George Jessup,
Yes.
Leslie Wallace,
Yes,
and Wendy Schuck.
Yes.
All right, and now will we have a motion to accept the application?
Sure, this is Wendy Schuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Catherine and Matthew Dillon, 1750 Main Street, West Barnstable, map 197, parcel 037, built 1950, as submitted.
And a second,
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
and a roll call vote. George Jessup,
Aye.
Wendy Schuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy, aye. Thank you very much. Your application is approved as submitted.
Great, thank you very much, and have a good
Okay.
evening. Nice to see everybody.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
good to
Thank
see
you.
you too, Steve.
All right. Our nenext application is for Douglas Mercer of 6 Harvey Avenue, Barnstable, map 318, parcel 020, and built in 1945. And this is to construct an additional shed. May we have a motion to open the public comment on this?
Sure, this is Wendy Schuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
George Jessup, I'll second.
And a roll call vote on that. Wendy Schuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
George Jessup,
Aye.
and Beth McCarthy, aye. So would the owner or their builder or anyone
Representative.
like to discuss this application?
This is Douglas Mercer, and I just wanted to add a shed to the existing property that I've been in here since 1962. And there's been a shed there since 1945 when the house was built. And I want to put my golf cart in it. And I'd also like to put storage in because I do not have an attic or I have crawl space under the house. So we just need more room.
Uh-huh.
And it will match the house with the trim, the windows, etc.
What's the particular model of Pine Harbor shed is that, Mr. Mercer?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let me see if I can go through my paperwork. It looks to be,
Did you look that up online or did you go to their site?
I have visited them and they've seen the property where I am
Oh,
and
good.
gone from there. But that's the closest one to match the house.
Nice little shed.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, George.
All right.
Leslie Wallace, do you have any comments regarding this application?
Yep, and I have a shed that looks very similar for my horses. Are you, is it, not gonna be on a slab? It's gonna be exactly as what we see in the picture with, I don't know if that's stone or whatever, and then it's uplifted a bit, or is it on a
Yeah,
slab?
it's seashells.
Okay,
And it's seashells and it will be uplifted just for water,
okay,
as the other one is.
yep. Fine with me.
And Wendy?
Yes, so this is gonna replace the existing shed, is that right, and go in the same spot?
No, it's going to be an additional shed. I have no more room in my existing sheds.
Okay, and can we pull up the aerial view? I just wanna understand where it's going to,
I think you saw where the golf cart was. It's going in that general vicinity.
yeah.
There's another one all the way back.
Yep,
Oh,
okay.
there's the other one. And I think in
Yep.
an aerial view, there's like a tree. Yeah, so is it kind of going where that tree? I think it's a tree.
Yeah, there was an old tree there that had to
I
be
see.
cut down because of it was diseased.
Yeah.
We just recently had a house fire back in 21 and the house has just been recently rebuilt by Scott
Yep.
Peacock. And it's nothing but amazing. And we just want to really make it very, very special.
Yep. Okay, that's all I had.
Okay. And this is Bette McCarthy. And as far as my comments are, is Pine Harbor sheds are very historic in general. And you've chosen one that's very similar to your home. And I think the project is quite acceptable. Are there any public comments? Is there anybody in the public wishing to discuss this?
Mayor, this is Kate Maldonato. I do not see any members of the public raising their hand to speak at this time.
All right.
I move that we close the public hearing. George Jessup, I move that we close the public hearing.
Thank you, George. May we have a second on that?
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote. George Jessup,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Schuck,
Aye.
and I myself also agree. Now, may we now have a motion regarding the application?
Sure. This is Wendy Schuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Douglas Mercer, 6 Harvey Avenue, Barnstable, map 318, parcel 020, built 1945, as submitted.
And a second,
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
and a roll call vote on this. George Jessup,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Schuck,
Aye.
and I myself, Bette McCarthy, aye. Thank you very much. And enjoy your new shed.
Thank you very much. But can I make one comment?
Sure.
Number one, thank you to committee, but number two, the woman you have in the office named Erica Brown is outstanding representative. for your
Yes,
company.
she is, isn't she?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's-
I'll second.
thank you. We
Thank
have great staff and we appreciate,
Yes, you do. And
all their
I'm
support.
appreciative as well. Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
great.
Have a great
Thank
evening.
you. thank you for making that comment. That's very
You're-
nice.
You bet.
Sure, Erica will be glad to hear that.
Well, she deserves it, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Thank you, everybody.
Well,
Our
thank you.
pleasure.
Have a
It's a
great night.
thankless
Have a
job
great-
sometimes, so thanks.
Have a
Glad-
great summer.
Well, we'll go on to our next application, and that's for Isaiah McCartney. It's 101 Maple Street, West Barnstable, map 132, parcel 029, built in 1740. To replace 12/12 windows with 2/2 windows, to install pre-colored shingles, to replace the shingles on the front of the house, and then to install a small deck to mimic the look of a deck in West Barnstable remembered photos. May we have a motion to open the public comment on this application?
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
And
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
thank you. And a
Please.
roll call vote on that. George Jessup,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy. Aye. Is Mr. McCartney or their representative there to speak with the about the project?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name's Connor McInerney. I'm the family representative for 101 Maple Street. We are looking, we've had this property for a few years. And when we bought it, it was dilapidated and starting to fall down. And we love the history here. We've worked since we moved in pretty closely with Nancy Shoemaker. She's gotten us a bunch of pictures of the history of the home. The idea is to bring it back to the glory of these pictures. The picture you have up right now, we believe is a picture from the mid 1800s. This is a picture that is shown in the book West Barnstable Remembered. It outlines the history of the Winnekainen farm here. This picture shows what we'd like to do to the front of the house. The front of the house right now looks very similar to that. The changes that have been made from then till now are that small deck that you see right behind everyone has been removed. It's now just lawn. And at some point, the 2/2 windows that you see in this photo were replaced with 12/12. So we would like to bring the front of the house back to exactly what you see here. Replacing those 2/2 windows. Replacing the 12/12 windows, which have seen better days, with new 2/2 windows, and trying to mimic what we have there for the deck.
Question.
Yes, sir.
When was this house built?
The house was built in 1740.
2/2 is a little early for 1740 is a little early for 2/2s. Those are Victorian windows, and they would have been 100 years later. So those are replacements of what was in there, which would have been 6/6 or smaller.
Yes, sir.
The windows on the first floor, you have that addition, the side entrance. Do you know when that was built?
The side entrance was built not too long before this picture here. It was built in the mid 1800s.
That's appropriate for the windows.
Yes, sir.
I suggest that the window above, the second floor window, was a replacement so that you could put the roof of the adjacent addition underneath it at that time. It would be a bit smaller than the window on the first floor, and approximately it's a raised elevation, it appears, from the windows on the front, the dormer windows. Is that the case? Is it set a little bit higher than the dormer windows?
The window on the gable side?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's probably about 6 inches higher than those dormer windows.
So they use the same size window, but they raised it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that explains why it's that way. And because it dates from the time of the addition, as part of the construction of the addition, as I would determine it, it is a historic window and may be replicated as such. In other words, the 2/2 is an appropriate time period in relation to the addition that was placed at the same time.
Understood. Wonderful.
So there's a little infill on why that is not a 6/6 or smaller.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. That's a nice picture. I'm concerned about one thing, and that's the eave detail. If it's not done properly, you're going to have a lot of leaks at that point, especially the addition where you have the downspout, it looks like, set right against the face.
Yes.
It's right against if there's no fascia board to prop that out a bit, I'd be very careful with the eave detail for water and ice dam. The gutter should be at least below the drop line of the roof itself. So you put a straight edge on the roof, and if it hits the outer edge of the gutter is too high. It's going to catch ice sliding off the roof, and it's going to back water up underneath it. The doorway in the corner, I could give details on how that should be treated, but basically it's a cant against the wall. A cant being a stack of shingles that provides a wedge so that the water runs away from the wall instead of along it. And as the water runs away from the wall, it would carry out towards the middle of the roof and away from the door so that it doesn't run down above the door, but gets carried away from the gable end of the house towards the middle of the addition gutter. Little tricks on how to shingle.
Much appreciated.
So that's an area that might be constantly causing problems. And the deck in that corner, you want to make sure that it's pitched just slightly so the water runs away from the house rather than up against it. A dead level deck will run against it. A slight pitch away from it would ensure that the top of the deck doesn't get the rain-driven water up against the house. It's the first place that the shingles start to rot.
Understood. Thank you.
All right,
Well, there's the benefit of my experience. So
very good. Thank you, George.
you're welcome.
Wendy, I'd like to hear your comments.
Yep, just a couple questions. So I believe, if I recall, the windows in the dormer are a little different, right? They're like two little curved side by
So-
side. Yeah,
So the windows in the dormer are open, open light. So they're just it's two smaller windows next to each other, and those would stay exactly the same as they
you're gonna
are.
keep those, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It actually keep the original windows that are there,
Um,
or do you have
For-
to replace them?
for now,
Yeah.
it eventually, when they'll be replaced exactly as they are.
Okay.
So that there's no, I guess they're called no lights, maybe zero lights.
Zero lights,
yeah.
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 Yeah, okay. Let's see, and in terms of, like color of the windows, when you replace them, I think in the photo that we saw, like the trim on the inside was a little darker. Are you gonna follow that, or is it just gonna be all white trim, or?
Um,
What do you
most
think?
of the pictures we've seen look like white trim, so that was the plan.
Okay, okay. Let's see. And then the deck, so the deck will look just like that. You're gonna paint the deck all white as well?
The paint, yes.
Yeah, all white, okay. And then one last question. I think I saw in the paperwork that the shingles on the front of the house are gonna be a painted shingle?
That was just more for a discussion. We've had a terrible time getting shingles.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I've been making my way around the house, but it's just been really tough, and I would really like to get this project moving. And I'm on a couple lists for shingles, but it's just it's been really trying, and I wanted to at least have the option. And the plan would be to try to go with something that would look very much like
Yeah.
a weathered white cedar
Mhm.
shingle, like a Cape Cod gray or something
Yeah.
along those lines of,
Yeah.
of a very kind of muted color, just so I could get something on the walls themselves.
Yeah.
It's been terrible getting these shingles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard, yeah.
Well, the shingle supply is easing. Are those what they call double dipped natural shingles?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. I put those on the back of my house 25 years ago. And they didn't need repainting.
Nice.
It was restaining, actually.
Yeah,
So and that's a south elevation that I have. So that's a good choice for natural shingles, cedar shingles, that is. As
so
opposed
then
to
your preference would be if you could get shingles, oops, sorry, George.
that's okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so if you had the option, then your preference would be to put just kind of the natural and not like the pre-painted ones on there? If you
Yes.
get 'em? Yeah,
But both for price and that it would be closer to what I see in the pictures. So
Right.
that's the idea. Yeah.
right. And would that be on the front of the house only? Because I think I saw you're starting to shingle the back of the house, right? With
Yeah,
that,
we've been doing the back and gotten. I was able to buy Foursquare a little while ago, and so I've been making my way around the house. But
Yeah.
it's as we get into the front where we're doing these windows, I just don't want to run into
Yeah.
an issue and not be able to get them. The dip shingles are something that I can buy today.
Yeah.
And the
I
other ones
understand.
I'd be waiting for. But so really, like I said, it's more to have the option. I figured it was worth asking the question.
Sure. Yep, okay, thank you. That's it for me, Beth.
Right.
Thank you.
Leslie, may we have your comments?
Thank you for doing your due diligence
Mhm.
with the historical aspect. I think it's gonna look great. And I like the 2/2. The deck is great. The only thing is you'll have to wait and see if you have natural shingles or the dip shingles. Is that how I read it? Connor?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay,
That's
yeah.
the plan.
Right.
Well, I like what you have. I think you put a lot of thought into it to keep it historic, and being on this committee, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Leslie. And this is Bette McCarthy, and I think the owners are to be commended that they're restoring the house, and they're willing to make this investment to bring the house back to and to keep the historic integrity. So my only comment is according to our architectural expert on our committee. He used the double dipped shingles and did not have an issue with them. And so if that seems to be the best way to go, I also would agree with that. So I think that would be comments from the committee. Are there any comments from the public that we know of?
Chair, this is Kate Maldonado. I do not see any members of the public raising their hand to speak at this time.
All right. Then may we have a motion to close the public comment for this application?
I had one further question of Connor. The color of the shingles on the front elevation, was that to be, I understood gray, did you say?
Yes, sir. If we were to do the dipped, I would do, like a light gray, something similar to like Cape Cod gray.
So it's possible that you might do it in white with the, at a later date, with the shingles on the other walls naturally weathered.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think white overlay would be appropriate after installation. I will say that the double dipped is it doubles the lifetime of the shingles, and I think when you get around to it, overlaying it with white is most appropriate for the front elevation.
Does that mean painting it white, George? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because it's either a stain double dipped or paint double dipped, and a overlay of the same material, whether it's a stain or a paint, is appropriate for finish, the final finish on the front elevation. Gray, I don't think is appropriate historically, which is why I mentioned the white.
Oh,
I think that's the historic match. And I think the neighborhood can tell you, you look at Route 6A, especially in the Yarmouth, Dennis area, you'll see most of the houses that are Revolutionary War period, 1700s, you'll see that they have a white front wall, but they may have a natural shingled rear and side walls.
But the natural shingled front wall would also be acceptable?
Yes.
Okay.
It
Okay.
would always be acceptable.
Wonderful.
But if you
Thank
want to get it on there and all you can get is the double dipped in a light gray,
Yes,
then
sir.
you can always come back and paint over it with a white
Understood.
to bring it to historic accuracy.
Yeah.
That's and I would approve the gray double dipped to get the house buttoned up and get a good weathering surface on there.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hey, Beth,
thank you.
One question. We had a letter, I think, didn't we, on this? Do we need to read that or no? Does that have to be read?
Let me see, I can pull up the letter and bring it before you so you can review it.
Was it complimentary or derogatory?
Yeah, no, it was about the windows, right?
Just a second. Thank you for your patience. Can you pull it up?
Oh, I can't read that.
Yeah.
I gotta get my,
Yeah, it was at the 12/12 windows, I think they thought were more appropriate, but George, I think you explained since part of the house was built later,
well, it says here that at the time of the original construction, 12/12 was more appropriate. And I agree with that, but I also believe that the window was changed to permit the addition to abut the gable end without interfering with the window.
Yeah.
The window sits 6 inches higher than the windows at the front, which tells me that they raised the entire window rather than cut the top off. So I think that's the way it was built, and for that reason, I think what is shown in that photograph is the accurate depiction that you seek to reproduce.
Yep, okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. I think we need a motion now to close the public comment.
Sure thing. This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Second, Leslie Wallace.
Thank you. And a roll call vote on that. George Jessup,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So may we now have a motion regarding the application?
Sure. This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Isaiah McCartney, 101 Maple Street, West Barnstable, map 132, parcel 029, built 1740, as submitted, with one slight modification being natural shingles may be used in case, in the event that you're able to get them in lieu of the dip shingles.
All right,
Leslie Wallace, second.
all right, and a roll call vote on that. George Jessup,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So your application is approved with the option for the natural shingles on the front. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night now.
Good luck.
Thank you all very much. I look forward to moving forward on this property and hope you all get a chance to drive by and see it.
Oh, I hope you have it done by the 4th of July.
I'll be hard pressed.
And don't forget your bunting.
Yes, sir. Thank you all again.
Thank you.
All right. Good night now.
Good night.
All right. Our next application is for Jennifer Gardner of 526 Willow Street, West Barnstable, map 130, parcel 029, built in 1964, to replace all siding. And originally it was with Caboni, but I believe it's now changed to shiplap. And 1x6 horizontal siding and trim replaced as required, all trim painted. May we have a motion to open the public session for this?
I move we open a public hearing for this application.
Okay, and a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
Very good. And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
George Jessup,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. Is the owner or their representative available to discuss this application?
That would be me, Matt Christiani of Align Architecture, representing Jennifer Gardner. So first of all, I want to apologize for the last minute material change. It's it was a budget issue, and actually this new product is fantastic. So originally we were going to go with the Kebony, which was a manufactured wood, and then the new product is also a manufactured product. It's 100% sustainable, 100% recyclable. It's actually made out of corn husks. Which is fascinating, but it's actually, I have to say,
So is the Corn Palace.
yeah, but yes, it is. That doesn't actually look like wood. That looks like corn. And this, I have to say, it's pretty good. I think, I don't know if you're familiar with the new cedar, which is also, that's I think a PVC product, but really captures the look. And this is, I mean, it's pretty good, I have to say, for a manufactured product. Let's see if I can. Got a couple of samples here. It's going to be quite hard to see though, I think, but get sort of some sense. I don't think it's coming up. That's painted. You can see
We can see that there's an implied, there's a
there's a
grain.
real texture to
wood.
it.
What is the base material? You said it was
Corn husks.
corn husks.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say,
do they make that like a chipboard?
there's some sort of epoxy. I don't know specific, I'm not sure
Uh-huh.
exactly what the process is. I know it lasts forever. You know, so,
Well,
you know,
yeah,
supposedly. It lasts longer than, you know, cedar siding would, but, you know, it's, you paint it, you stain it, it takes a stain really well, actually. I just stained the back of this during the meeting because I was curious. It's just a min-wax, you know, water-based brown stain, but you can
it
see
is a water base, not an oil base.
this one is, yeah.
Yeah,
And-
okay.
You know, actually took the stain really well. I was surprised. So I was,
Yeah, well, water-based stain is much better than oil when it comes to
well,
penetrating hardwoods.
I tried an oil on that one. It didn't go so well. But the water-based
Yeah.
one. So I think, you know, if we were a historic colonial on 6A, then you're an Old Cape on 6A, this probably wouldn't be appropriate. But given the nature of this building, which has all roof forms, all of them are in there. Pizza Hut. And it's all just, it's brown, all painted brown now. You know, we're trying to find something that, you know, fit with the fragmented nature of the building, something before looking that was sustainable. And something that I think in the end, once you stain this, you know, there's one image that I submitted today where it shows this stained to look like Ipe, and it's remarkably good.
Do we have elevations and of the proposed design changes?
some renderings?
This
Although
is Kate Maldonado. I believe this is the most up to date, but please,
no, that one's an old one.
this one's the old one. Okay, let me
yeah.
see. Pull up.
Blue trim. So
I see it. It's on the exhibition. Here we go. So this is the most recent.
yep. these
So
are
we
all-
have a mastaba and we have an A-frame.
yes,
And what do we have behind the mastaba?
a gable. All connected by well, there's a gable connecting
Or you have a shed, yeah,
Yep.
barn style.
yep. And there's a
Well, you
flat
got every,
roof. Like I said, we have all of the roofs.
was this an experiment in roof forming?
This was owner built by the
Uh-huh.
original owner over, you know, several years.
And where is this again?
Willow Street.
On Willow Street,
Yeah,
and it's in the historic district.
yeah.
It's
I'm trying to
literally
play,
a stone's throw from the highway.
I'm sorry?
It's literally a stone's throw from the highway.
I live near here. I've never seen this.
It's
It's
oh,
weird, isn't it?
Right, but it's across, what's that intersection with Willow and
Cedar,
Cedar,
Yeah,
right? It's
Cedar.
on the other side of Cedar, yeah.
right.
You wouldn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's a dead end.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
there is no
Oh,
traffic down
okay,
there.
all right,
No
that's
one goes
why,
down there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's off the beaten track.
yeah.
Yep.
It almost bumps up to the highway, I think,
Yeah,
It-
right? Because I went
Highway.
down there today and I could hear the highway, yeah.
I gotcha,
Yeah.
okay.
It's an eclectic building.
Yeah,
Right.
oh,
That's the word I'm gonna
eclectic,
go
the
with.
perfect word.
It's like, yeah, and brown. Very
It'll
brown.
blend in with the trees.
Yeah, yep.
Are
Can
you,
you see the Google map so that you have reference to where the property is? Can you
Yeah.
see that on your screen? Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep, it is right up on the towards the highway. Yeah,
Just in the historic district.
yeah.
Right.
But-
This is Bette McCarthy. The property is in a very remote area, and I think the application to improve and to fix the exterior it is appropriate. And with the products you're intending to use, with the stain that you are trying to replicate the existing color, as far as I'm concerned, I think is totally appropriate. Are there any other committee comments regarding this?
so what you're saying, Bet, is no matter what we do, we can't do it any harm.
Oh, I didn't say that, George.
I agree,
people.
Matt. I
Right.
think it's appropriate and, some new siding on it would be an improvement. And it's in keeping with the area there, and it is very remote, so.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's interesting that we have another type of siding to consider. Because I've never heard of this,
Me
the
either.
corn siding, but now I do. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I always like to know new things.
Well, as an aside, I have learned, speaking with builders, that some of the cement siding doesn't stand up to the bragging. So it wears out a lot faster than
Yeah.
they
Well,
say
the
it
corn
does.
sounds good though, George, huh?
Well, being just another way to use up our mineral. We've got it mixed with gasoline, and we've got it generating electricity. So now we're gonna turn it into siding.
We subsidize corn. We gotta find something to do with the corn.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we put so much money into corn. I did see a Japanese ritual for use of the corn cobs on the YouTube, but let's see what you can do with the siding material. We would like to see samples submitted as part of the application, and give us a chance to look them over as part of the total application package. But I think it's appropriate to use these. What did they say is the lifetime use of it? What's the durability?
It's lengthy. Let me see. I can find the exact number. It's in one of the fact sheets.
Well, is it going to last as long as cedar shingles, which is about 20 years?
It should outlast those. In fact, resist is a limited lifetime guarantee.
No, the limit is to how long it lasts.
Right, but lifetime. So the life, as long as it's up there, they guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a contractor say he was going to give me a limited lifetime. I said, "Who's yours, mine, or the product?"
The product.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Right.
I appreciate it. We're done.
Well, we'll close the committee comment now. And are there any members of the public wishing to comment on this application?
There, this is Kate Maldonado. I do not see any members of the public wishing to speak on behalf of this item. So as such, I don't think that we've closed the public hearing yet. Generally, we take the public comment and then move to close the public hearing if the committee feels that you have sufficient information.
Okay. May we have a motion to close public comment, public hearing?
Yep, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Leslie Wallace, second.
And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
George Jessup,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy. Aye. Now may we have a motion regarding this application?
Sure. This is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Jennifer Gardner, 526 Willow Street, West Barnstable, map 130, parcel 029, built 1964, all siding replaced with, I had shiplap. What's the name of this? Is there a name for this siding?
It is called Acre
Acre?
by a company called Trimboard.
Acre. Okay. All siding replaced with Acre 1x4 horizontal siding and trim replaced as required. All trim painted, and one request that a sample of the siding be submitted along with the application. I believe George requested that.
Yes.
Okay.
I will submit a sample. Yep.
You done, Wendy?
Yes, thank you.
Leslie Wallace, I second.
All right, and a roll call vote on that. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
George Jessup,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy. Aye. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
How do
All
you
right.
fasten? He fastens it with screws. Oh,
All right.
Leslie, you sound like me.
No allergies.
Yeah, me too.
All right, our next application is for Edith Tonelli, and I know she's been very patient for 1595 Main Street, West Barnstable, map 197, parcel 044, built 1880, to install a 72-foot of 6-inch scallop cedar board fencing with a walk gate and a 6-foot white vinyl siding to create a safe, accessible, and private, quiet outdoor space for a wheelchair. May we
Oh.
have a motion to open the public hearing on this application?
Do we have a site plan?
We gotta open it,
Yep,
George.
this is
Oh.
Wendy Shuck, and I move to open the public hearing.
Second,
Leslie Wallace, I second.
And a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
George Jessup,
aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. And may we hear from the applicant regarding this application now.
Oh, I think you're on mute.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But there's just a couple things in the listing as read. It's a 6-foot scalloped cedar board fencing, and it's a 6-foot white vinyl slider
Lighter.
door.
Huh?
And I want to apologize up front. The slider was put in by a contractor who I have since fired. He told me he had the permits and he put it in, and then I realized there were no permits. So I'm coming to you and it's already there. I'm very sorry about that. But I'm, my
Is
little
it-
guy here is who I'm trying to create. I don't know if you know the building. It was the Pastiche Building. And I'm
Yes.
trying to make it more of a residence and
Yeah.
taking it from being a commercial building.
It's
So,
on the corner of Parker and 6A.
Yeah,
I'm right down the street.
yeah, okay. So, the two things are the slider, which is unfortunately was already put in there. And it's not that visible from 6A, but it's there on the side of the house. That you can see it. I kind of made that. So you can, I just wanted to be sure that I don't have to take it out before I do anything more. So, and then I wanted to put in the fence to get some privacy in the back. And that side area is really the only outdoor area that's accessible with the wheelchair for my son. So I want to make it a private space.
oh,
Okay, so
two
if you're
things.
looking at Pastiche, or I don't mean to call it, but that's the only name I know.
Yeah,
It's got the big stone thing next door.
yeah.
I don't know what they do in there, but whatever it is. And you're on the corner.
right.
Yeah, Parker,
Plum Street,
Bay, and Plum, right?
right.
Yeah. Where is the fence? Okay, I'm looking at it now.
Right.
It's in the back.
It's behind the trees, from the corner of the house, the front corner of the house over to the next property.
Okay, because your parking lot is in the back.
Yes,
Right,
and
yeah.
there's a couple of parking spots in
Yeah.
the front as well.
Yeah, and then
It's
you have
behind
like
it.
a barn back there.
Mhm.
Don't you have some kind of a barn?
Yes, way
Yeah,
back.
okay. I'm just trying to figure out where the fence will be. All
Yeah,
right,
that's my sketch of it.
okay.
Oh, very good. I thought it was the real thing. Very nice. No, seriously, it's hard to do. I do it, so. let's look at the slider. The biggest problem is what? That it does not blend with the existing fenestration. That's the existing, the way it is.
That's how it is right now.
All right, now you have a slider on the left-hand side.
That slider has been there, yeah, the one on the left.
What
And
color is it?
The one in the middle is the one that just got put in.
Yeah, what color is the one on the left?
It's black with white trim, or sort of, yeah, grayish
It-
black.
What did you want to do with the one that's just been installed in front of the, behind the handicap ramp?
I'm going to trim it out in white. It's just been, and then obviously I'll put shingles around it as well.
Did you want to paint the sash to match the one to the left? In other words, paint it black?
I hadn't thought about it, but we could. I was going to eventually change that back area is all these big sliders, and I thought maybe just putting windows in there eventually and making it more of a room. But
Yeah.
this is all new area, obviously, that was built after the original house.
Right. And you can do just about anything, period, because it was built in, what did I say here? 1900s, what did you say it was built? Oh, just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this edition that we're looking at is a newer edition.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Pardon my voice. I'm trying to talk over medication. You might have, as on the left, the trim in white. The sash is plastic, I would guess, and you can get special paint for plastic, and it'll last the life of the product. It just has to be done properly by a good painter. And then you can you do your white trim around it. And later on, when you want to divide the glass, you can put a snap-in grill on the inside. And as you put it in, you can paint the inside of the outside, what would be against the glass, and showing it the outside to match the black sash. So that the whole window area seems to disappear in the elevation. Or you can match the window to the right.
Right,
what I
that's what
see
I was
behind.
thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the white.
So you could have it show white.
Right. And then if you
Right.
replace the windows in that little area in the back, you just carry over the white windows.
Yes, the same
Yes,
ones that
right.
are on the rest of the house, exactly.
Yeah.
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 I don't think it's all that objectionable the way it is, but
Yeah.
there's a couple of ways that you can improve it to make it disappear a little.
I have a question. So how far from the road do you think the fence will be approximately?
Oh, gosh, there's room enough for the cars. You can, well, in one of those,
Yeah.
you see where the cars are, it'll be back from that, behind
Right.
that area. So there's
Yeah.
trees in front of it. And
Yeah.
the
Okay.
fence will be behind the trees.
Right.
And
that'll
it's
be
not-
natural cedar. And so in that photo, does that represent what a 6-foot fence would look like?
Yes,
Okay.
I drew it as close to scale as I could.
Okay.
And it'll be natural,
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
like this, okay.
and as that weathers, it'll disappear.
Right.
yes, I hope.
I'm so glad they didn't put up white vinyl.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I absolutely hate white vinyl.
no, I'm not interested in that.
Well, everybody thinks it lasts longer and it has zero maintenance.
It looks
But I
ugly.
will tell you, people that do maintenance have told me that they're constantly washing the white plastic
Oh,
fence.
Yeah, it gets mildew.
Well, the biggest problem is the
All right.
wind blowing across it creates an electrostatic charge
Right.
that
Oh.
draws the soil to it. And
All
then you
right.
grow grass on it.
Okay, George, I don't think that's an issue on this situation right now. Thank you very much for your knowledge and your,
I want to
in your-
attack my prejudices as much as I can.
Yes, well, thank you for your trying to educate us. So we appreciate that. Are there any other comments with the committee regarding this application?
No, I think it's a reasonable solution.
Okay. Are there any members of the public wishing to comment on this?
There are no members of the public here to speak on behalf of this matter.
Okay, very good then. So why don't we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Yep, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to close the public hearing.
Leslie Wallace, second.
And roll call vote. George Jessup,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So now may we have a motion to accept this application?
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for Edith Tonelli, 1595 Main Street, West Barnstable, map 197, parcel 044, built 1880, as submitted.
Leslie Wallace, second.
And a roll call vote. George Jessup,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So thank you very much for your application, and good luck with your renovations and your installation of your fence. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to just second the former comment about Erica and her help. I couldn't have done it without her. So, and I thank all of you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aye.
Erica's the best.
Yes. And that's to Erica. Thank you. All right. And so now we're looking at, are there any minor modifications? And I don't believe there are any. Extensions, there are none. And no other. So I think our next issue is to look at the minutes of May 24th. Has everyone had an opportunity to, Wendy, have you had an opportunity to,
I have no changes, no edits.
George?
I didn't say anything that I wanted to change.
Okay. Leslie?
I never can remember, so no, nothing as far as I'm concerned.
Very good. And I read the minutes and didn't find any changes that needed to be made. So may we have a motion to accept the minutes?
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to approve the minutes of the meeting from May 24th, 2023, as submitted.
Second,
And-
Leslie Wallace.
And a roll call vote. George Jessup,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Bette McCarthy, aye. So our next meeting is June 28th, and the one after that is July 12th. And may we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Sure, this is Wendy Shuck, and I move to adjourn today's meeting Wednesday, June 14th, 2023.
And a second?
Leslie Wallace, second.
Can we do aye for everyone to say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
I
So,
think we need to say the names. I apologize since we're remote. If you can just do the roll
right.
call.
Wendy
we
Shuck,
we
aye.
need to do a roll call vote.
Yeah,
Okay,
since it's remote, thank you.
okay. So then we have a first and a second, and then a roll call vote. Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
George Jessup,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
and Bette McCarthy, aye. So thank you all very much. Thank you to our staff who very nicely were commented on the support and help that they have, that Erica's had, and Kate formerly had that position, and she worked very hard as well. So thank you all very much. Have a good evening, everyone. Take
Thank you.
care.
Bye.